So I'm just about to introduce our first keynote, and to keep us on time. So Chris Shipley is an absolute brilliant technology and product analyst and luminary in the global tech scene. She's CEO of Guidewire Labs, and she has helped companies bring more than 1,500 products to market. So it's not just somebody saying, I'm an analyst and an expert, because many people do without the expertise. She's helped hundreds, if not thousands, of products and companies get to market. I have the honor because 7 years ago, I was on stage and she was introducing me at the demo conference, where she was the executive producer. That was kind of like TechCrunch, International Startup Festival, and others, but in the late 90s and early 2000s. So that was 2003. She said her mission statement is make it through the day. And now I'm honored to introduce Chris Shipley. Come on up on stage.
Sir?
Thank you very much. I'll talk to you later.
Good morning, everybody. There's certainly more excitement in the room than that, right? Good. Oh. Well, so I woke up early this morning to think about what I was going to say to you all, to get you kind of warmed up. And I know David will come out here in a minute and really get you warmed up. But I realized that what I've been thinking about for this morning, I've been actually thinking about for a year. Because it was at the Startup Festival last year that I really got this kind of strange vibe. And this thought has been kind of sitting with me for the last 12 months. And you know, what I really have started to think about is that we're living in this really amazing time. Now is awesome. It is, of course, we've got lousy economics, right? We've got all these austerity programs and there's politics of division, but there's this absolute one thing that everybody agrees on, and that is that being an entrepreneur is this great high calling. And as a result of all that's going on in the world, there really is no better time to be starting a company, especially when you consider that over half of the great companies in the world got started during a period of recession or depression. So if that's true, if economic times like this lead to great companies, then there really is no smarter, better time to be starting a company. But what makes it even better is that becoming an entrepreneur, starting a business, it's become popular. People are really paying attention. And even more than that, even more than paying attention, people are paying. Resources for entrepreneurs, for startups, are raining down like they never have before. I mean, just look around in this room, and you begin to get an idea of what's here available for you to help you start building your business. You've got serial entrepreneurs who are here this week to share with you the mistakes they've made so you don't make them. They're here to share the ideas that they had that you might be able to use and capitalize on. There are all these tents out here full of mentors and advisors who are ready to offer advice and make introductions and help you out with your business. We've got a lot of investors here this week, and they are looking for great ideas and fantastic teams. And even the festival has a prize this year, and the prize is a $50,000 investment in one of the startups that's here this week. Best of all, you have all of you. You're your peers who are all trying to build businesses, and you're here to support one another, to share your experiences, and to offer encouragement. Now, people like this have always been around. There have always been events like this. But it's not just here. It's everywhere. There is a festival, a camp, a competition. There's something going on virtually every day of the year somewhere in the world to support entrepreneurs. And there are hundreds of organizations that are catering to the needs of the first-time business builder. They're providing mentorship and support and training. Organizations like Seed Camp and Startup Weekend, and there's Springboard, Founders Institute, Astia, Women 2.0, Startup Bootcamp. There are just tons of resources like that that you can take advantage of. And it's not just those events, but it's also the incubators and the accelerators. You think about 500 startups, and you're going to hear from Dave in a few minutes. There's Y Combinator and TechRanch and Techstars and UpWest Labs. There are just hundreds of these organizations, and at any given time, there are literally thousands of hatchling companies that are in the care of one of these organizations. And of course, best of all right now, it is really cheap to build a company, particularly a technology company. With open source, cloud, social marketing, the barrier to entry is very, very low, and it really makes it virtually free to frame up the infrastructure of a business, to build a product, to get it to market. So now is awesome. And to top that off, I think this is one of the really interesting things. The tech companies, the very companies who would have in the past been your competitors as startups, they're throwing tons of money into programs and resources to help you build your company. I know BizSpark is here this week. There are more than 50,000 companies who are benefiting from the BizSpark program. Telefonica has a dozen Wira incubators in Europe and Latin America. Citrix, Alcatel-Lucent, IBM, Swift, AOL, they're all running corporate accelerators. Even the New York Stock Exchange is getting into the game with its big startup initiative. Qualcomm has offered up a $250,000 prize. Chase and Living Social are in the throes right now of selecting 12, I believe it's 12 companies to win $250,000 grants from them. And then last month, Dell introduced a $100 million initiative to put money into supporting startups. So now is a great time to build a company. There are tons of resources, and there is this new class of investor, the successful entrepreneur turned venture capitalists who are putting $10, $20, $50, $100,000 into new ventures. So collectively, these organizations and corporations and individuals are marshaling hundreds of millions of dollars, all to help you build your business. So surely that makes right now an awesome time to start a business. And then wrap all those resources in the fact that it's now cool to be an entrepreneur. We have politicians and corporate leaders and individuals standing up and celebrating entrepreneurs for the businesses they're building. All the programs, Startup America, and there's Startup Canada and Startup Britain. My favorite is Startup Chile. At Startup Chile, they will offer an entrepreneur, a bundle of money to spend a few months in Chile working on their business just so they can help spread startup fever like it's some kind of great flu that you can catch, and then you can become a startup in Chile as well. But this whole widespread sense and this agreement that entrepreneurship is the way out, it's the thing that in a world where we agree on very little, we agree on this, that entrepreneurs, people like you, you're heroes. You are the ones who are going to spark the global economy, you're going to create jobs, and you're going to build value. So there's free advice, cheap capital, a low barrier to entry, and this entire support network to help you build your business. On top of that, you get the admiration of your countrymen for being great entrepreneurs. So there has never been a better time, a more resource-rich time to start a business. So all of that is really awesome, but I'm still worried. And it started here last year. I got this nagging feeling that something isn't quite right. I was here and I began to realize that in this embarrassment of resources, we might actually be doing something that's not good for entrepreneurship as much as it is that we're supporting entrepreneurship. Let me try to explain what I mean. Entrepreneurship, by which I mean building a business, is hard work. It's really, really hard work. It always has been, and it always will be. You work long hours, you eat too much, or maybe you eat too little, you drink, usually too much, you sleep when you can, and oftentimes you can't because there really are things that keep you up at night. Right? You get excited about the possibilities, and you get frustrated by the challenges of the business. Tums become a snack food. And maybe it's a good thing that you sold your car to support the business because riding the bike to work is the only way you get any exercise at all. And maybe you remember, too, that the 15th and the 30th of the month, those were the days when you used to get a paycheck, and now they're the days when you worry how you're going to pay everybody else. So starting a business, building a business, it takes all your time and energy. It takes a tremendous toll on your health, on your finances, on your family. And yet, even in this embarrassment of riches, it should be easier. It should be a whole lot easier to start and grow a business. But it's still not. It's still really hard. But among all these resources, something happened. That would not be good breakfast, I gotta tell you. It wasn't that all these resources make your job as entrepreneurs easier. It helps, certainly. But what it's done, I think, is allowed a lot of other people to jump on the startup bandwagon. And that should be good, right? We should be encouraging entrepreneurship, and absolutely we do. But let's be really, really clear on this. Building an app is not building a business. Neither is winning a business plan competition. Filing incorporation papers, not building a business either. And at the risk of offending some folks, I just have to say it, going to work in somebody's startup factory, being a part of what I started to call the startup industrial complex, a machine that shovels coders and ramen noodles into a money-making vehicle, that's really not building a business either. There's a chance, tiny little chance, that doing that might help you get rich. It might and probably will teach you a lot, give you some valuable experience. Your app might even get some traction, but it doesn't necessarily make you an entrepreneur. It doesn't mean that you're building a business. Because entrepreneurs, they build new things. They have big visions and bigger appetites for change. They disrupt old lines of business. They bring efficiency to old processes. Entrepreneurs displace market leaders. They spot new opportunities. They take advantage of new technologies. They leverage changing market conditions. Entrepreneurs dive into those wide open spaces and they create new markets. They tackle hard problems and they resolve customer pain. Right, customers, not users, not downloaders, not visitors, not traction, customers. Entrepreneurs sell stuff. They take all of these vast resources that are available and they create companies that are built to grow and to last. And sometimes they get sold and sometimes there's going to be an IPO, but the great pursuit of the entrepreneur is building the company itself. It's hard and it's all-consuming work. And if you're going to work that hard, you might as well do something that matters. And by make it matter, I don't mean change the world and bring peace to the Middle East and feed the hungry and clothe the poor. I mean, that's a kind of make it matters. It's important, and certainly we need more of that. But I'm talking about business building. Business that's worthy of the work. Business that's worthy of your time. It's worthy of the risk that you're taking and the sacrifices you're making for yourself, your family, your finances. All of these resources, this embarrassment of resources, are here to help you. So doesn't it make sense that you should use them to build a company that has a sustaining and lasting value, that it has an impact on the industry, on your community, on your stakeholders, that it has some kind of sustaining impact on you? So you came to this festival. It's the one that's uniquely titled and positioned for startups that matter. And presumably you're here because you have an appetite of an entrepreneur and the vision to do something big. You're here and you're going to work hard and you're going to build a company. So shouldn't you do something that matters? So that's my challenge to all of you, and that's my challenge to all of us. Now is awesome. Be an entrepreneur and make it matter. Enjoy this conference, and I look forward to learning about what you're doing that matters.